First of all, Happy New Year's everyone, it's Typhoon Carter here, and today I want to start something new. I wanted to try my hands on commentating on my own tournament replays, per se. So I figured I'm going to start off by covering a tournament that I'm currently playing in, which is the Scarlet and Violet Unreviewed Kickoff tournament. At the time I'm recording this, I am currently moved on to round 6, and so, which is basically quarterfinals at this point. But anyways, so this is like Generation 9's first underused tournament, and I enjoyed the underused tier so far in Gen 9, so I joined thinking this could be interesting. Anyways, let's just get right into this match. So for round 1, I was matched up against an opponent named I Love Pocket Monsters. They were a fairly new player from what I could tell, but that's besides the point. Anyways, on team preview, what I see on his team is Brambleghast, which is a ghost grass type, which means it's an excellent spin blocker, but also has rapid spin itself. It also has Wind Rider, which means it has an immunity to wind type moves, or wind moves per se, not wind type. But so moves like Hurricane, Whirlwind, Heat Wave, those do not work on Brambleghast if it has that ability, and it will gain a +1 attack, or a +1 boost to their attack. And it also has Infiltrator as another possible ability, so this means it could go through Substitute, it could go through screens, but that's not as useful on a Pokemon like this. It has an excellent move pool with like spikes, which everything in Generation 9 seemingly got. Rapid Spin, like I talked about before, Strength Sap, Power Whip, Shadow Sneak. It's got a bunch of moves and they could be very annoying if not handled properly. He also has a Dreadnought, which has Swift Swim, but also got Shell Smash this generation, so it's a very terrifying Shell Smash sweeper if used correctly, and it could be a real threat. Pelipper, Drizzle Setter, it's been doing the same thing it's been doing in Generation 7, but the important thing to note here is that it lost Defog, so it can no longer act as hazard control. And we also have Gyarados, which has Dragon Dance, doing what it's always done. The important thing to note is that because Scarlet and Violet currently have cut most, if not all, transfer moves from the game, this means Gyarados, and also they reduce like a lot of move tutor moves per se. Gyarados lost Power Whip, so this means that it is not able to check the Azumarill on my team. Axorus does what it normally does, but also got Iron Head this generation, and it's a great abuser of Terastallization. It could Terastallize into a Steel type. A Slitherwing, a strong bug fighting type that has First Impression. Basically, it's the wall breaker on his team. I decided to bring a Focus Sash Sandy Shocks offense. Sandy Shocks, which is basically Ancient Magneton, has Stealth Rock. It has a Ground Electric typing, which is incredible offensively speaking. And I also had Terra Ice. It also has Terra Ice, so this means that Ground, Electric, Ice is a great combination, like for stab, and covers a lot of the Pokemon that are in underused nicely. Chrome Wash does what it always does, and I also have Staraptor, who is basically tearing things up, like it always has. It's a UUBL icon at this point. I have Amit Scarf on this, and Groot Bonnet, Azumarill, Mimikyu, my all priority users, and Mimikyu's disguise is very handy in this matchup, as it could potentially revenge kill and even take a straight hit. Let's just get right into this. So I lead off with Sandy Shocks here, anticipating the Pelipper lead. Here I decide to Thunderbolt because I'm thinking I could get rid of Rain, potentially try to snag an easy kill. I don't get that, so I Terra Ice. I do this because I'm thinking long term this gonna benefit me because my Focus Sash is intact. I also have, so I could get Stealth Rocks up, I could even get another kill, potentially. So you bring out Slitherwing, it has booster energy. This boosts the Paradox Pokemon's highest stat by 1.3, except for unless their highest stat is speed, in which case it's just a Choice Scarf boost, aka a 1.5 times boost. They turn the Bug here. I was thinking, oh, they might be first impression, but they close combat, which is very questionable. Yeah, I don't really agree with that play at all whatsoever, but especially the defense drop is unnecessary because your Slitherwing just takes even more damage than it needs to at this point in the game. And then he goes for Flame Charge, which is just really greedy. Especially because my Staraptor is Scarf and I have several priority users that can just put an end to its sweep early. So here I Aqua Jet, just thinking, let's just take advantage of the rain. I thought, because I was thinking this Pauper was Damp Rock, but I quickly learned that it isn't, so that means it, so my assumption was that, oh, maybe it's Choice Specs. I go to Staraptor, I read this Dragon Dance, and I figured that this is a very easy kill. If this Gyarados, I don't know what Terra type this Gyarados was, but for example, if it was Steel or something, if he didn't waste it on his Slitherwing, he could have easily Terra into Steel and turn the matchup around on me and got rid of my primary revenge killer in Staraptor. But alas, it goes down, very easy work. You send out Dreadnought, so here, but I was anticipating that he knows that I'm Scarf. I went to Mimikyu thinking that this guy was gonna Shell Smash. But here he decides to go for Liquidation, which is just a really solid play from him. I go for Play Rough here, just to try and get it in priority range. But instead he makes probably the most greedy play I've ever seen. Just Shell Smashing in front of my face for no good reason. His play, like, here's the thing, right? Dreadnought has pretty high attack on its own, and Mimikyu is pretty frail, all things considered. He should have just, like, killed me with Liquidation, but, he ends up doing almost nothing with it. Because the thing is, like, you could easily, say, go into Haxorus right after, right? Like, if it died, like, you still have Haxorus potentially as your setup sweeper. That's what I'm thinking, but his Pauper reveals itself to be Boots. It Hydro Pumps a very easy switch into Rotom. He basically just sacrifices his Slitherwing because he realizes that it's kind of dead weight, especially since Terra into Bug, so that means it takes 25%. He goes to Haxorus, which is a puzzling choice, all things considered. Maybe it was Scarf, but I kill it anyways with Staraptor. I Brave Bird again, and at this point the game's pretty much over for him. And I just go into Rotom Wash, and that is game set match for game 1. I'm up 1-0, and I thought I played a really solid game for the most part against him, but I think my opponent also made several boneheaded errors, if you want to call it that. Like Shell Smashing with Dreadnought, that was just really greedy. That Haxorus, if it was Dragon Dance, I think he should have sacked his Pelipper, or probably his Pelipper first. And Terra, using his Terra on his Slitherwing was just questionable as well. Especially considering I had 3 priority users on his team. Yeah, I just think that was not great from him, for the most part, but with that being said, let's move on to game 2. Okay, so we have game 2 here, and I decided to bring the same team again. This team was made by Selby. It's in the Team Bazaar on the underused forums for Gen 9. So I will link that in the description below. But here I decided to bring the same team again because I was feeling pretty confident for the most part. And I liked the way I played game 1. I was thinking, you know what, let's just stick with what's working. I don't think he can really handle what I have. And I don't think I showed too much. Like, I didn't reveal Sword Stance on my Mimikyu. I think he knows about my Sandy Shocks. He doesn't know my Rotom Wash was Nasty Plot, all that jazz, and I didn't even have to bring up Brute Bonnet at all. Going into team preview, I see that he brought a more balanced team with Bronzong, Wolchan, Rotom Wash being his defensive pivots, and then his main source of offense probably comes from Gengar, Weavile, and Noivern. That was probably what I was thinking going into this, and I still liked how my team matched up against it, although I think this matchup was one where Azumarill could really shine because his if I guess correctly or predict correctly per se, he doesn't have any real switch-ins, and he's basically forced to guess between Liquidation and Play Rough every single time. But going into this, I lead Brute Bonnet because I anticipated a Wolchan lead. But I lead Bronzong, which is fine for me too because I can put it to sleep, keep it not being able to do anything for a meantime. He immediately switches out to Noivern. This surprised me because Noivern is usually fast, but he reveals to be kind of bulky. And here, because Noivern traditionally runs like an offensive set that's like speed control, all that stuff, right? And it's normally pretty frail, so I was thinking, oh, maybe I'll try the Hurricane, maybe I'll use Flamethrower, all that jazz. But Viz going first surprised me, and then it reveals U-turn, which kind of ruined my plan because I was thinking, oh, maybe this guy will try to use Hurricane or Flamethrower on me to break my disguise, or be forced to switch out while I can still preserve my disguise. But he reveals me a U-turn, but although some offensive sets run U-turn, so maybe this wasn't the best play for me regardless. He goes to Weavile, and I'm like, oh shoot, I should go into Azumarill immediately. The Ice Spinners, I realized this isn't Choice Bandit damage, this is probably heavy duty boots. I click Play Rough here thinking that like almost nothing on this team can switch into it, but Gengar comes in, which is okay play for him. Here, I should not have gone to Rotom Wash. What I should have done was I should have gone into Sandy Shocks, because Sandy Shocks would have resisted it, especially since I found out it was Black Sludge, and then from there I could maybe say make a hard read into Staraptor and prevent it from, and then get an easy kill there. But here, I end up getting a little flustered. Well, yeah, the Noivern completely threw me off guard, and then I was a little bit flustered while I was playing this match, and then I threw my Rotom Wash away for no reason. I was just like, oh man, not off to a great start. But he keeps his Gengar in for no reason. Although he gets the Cursed Body proc, which is like okay. But like regardless, I would not have stayed in after that. So like I don't really get that staying in on his part. That's just very confusing. Especially since his Gengar was very good against the rest of my team, all things considered. But here I go into Sandy Shocks predicting a Volt Switch, but they will-o-wisp me, which is a fine play by them. They go into Wolchan, and I threw up Stealth Rocks here, and I Terra Ice here just to, because I realized I should have actually Terra it one turn sooner. I should Terra it on like turn 10. But this works out in my favor. And here I just Terra again. And he brings out his Weavile. That crit was very unfortunate because, but my thought process was that I just want to prevent Wolchan from setting up Substitute on this particular sequence. I just wanted to make sure that this thing could not set up Substitute for free and start leech seeding me, but getting a crit here kind of works out for me even better, so I was like, that was unexpected. Here Weavile Night Slashes, which is surprising, and Sandy Shocks is able to get one last ditch attack off on it. I decide to Aqua Jet here and I get away with it. The reason I Aqua Jet it instead of Play Roughing this time was because I was thinking, oh, because the Weavile revealed itself to be a heavy duty boots, I was thinking, you know what, maybe it might try to poison jab me, so I Aqua Jet there. because I didn't want to take that chance. And here I bring my mid Q. I knew we could take a weak pivot from Wash. The ice shards. He makes the right play, and he's basically about to be dead. He accepts that. He just lets it get sacked. Okay, he also recognizes that it's a free volt switch for Rotom. My Root Bonnet takes this with ease. Here I sucker punch the Noivern, which was not my best play. Especially since I should have realized that it was a weird bulky set. What I should have done was I actually should have close combated, use CC on this thing, try to get it to waste a couple Roost PPs. That's what I should have done, but it's not the end of the world. He defogs, and he brings out the Bronzong. And here I'm just like, okay, let's just go back to Brute Bonnet, try to get some actual damage, reset things for Azumarill. Here I should have just immediately went back to Azumarill, like after going out in a Brute Bonnet. I think that was a slight error on my part. It wakes up, it uses Body Press, no big deal. I just spam Liquidation because the Rotom has been weakened at this point. And Noivern isn't exactly, even with the Dragon resisting water, it still doesn't like taking a Choice Band. I completely destroy, and I realized that Azumarill has done its job. It has broken down Bronzong. And this gave room for a Staraptor sweep. Here he tries to roost off the damage, does 61, does 63, and then he uses Super Fang for whatever reason, which was, I was very dumbfounded by this set completely because it's very unusual. I'll leave it at that. But here I just keep clicking Double Edge, and I basically just win the game. And that is basically game set match for me, and I win the set 2-0. Well, good games to him, but overall I think my game 2 I did not play as well as I could have compared to game 1. But I think my opponent made some very weird team choices, or at least in terms of sets, and some unfortunate blunders, such as letting his Gengar stay in, not switching his Bronzong in when Raptor did come into a game, and all that stuff. I think he didn't do a good job playing around the Staraptor, the Azumarill, all that. I don't think he... Yeah, he definitely could have played better. I think it was a very winnable game for him. But you gotta take what... But I'll take whatever I can get. With that being said, I will see you guys next time.